Hey everybody. Um, so I've been hinting that I've been wanting to talk about politics and some culture stuff, and this opportunity really fell in my lap that covers a lot of the stuff that I wanted to get into. So uh the Daily Caller had an opinion piece a couple days ago. I've been pretty busy the last couple days. So I haven't been able to record, so this is the first opportunity I've had. So, title: Poll shows liberal women are on a crash course with the dating hell they created. That seems that seems fun. And I'm sure you guys already picked up. I'm a conservative. I'm very conservative, very old fashioned, traditional. Uh, but the funny thing is, I've dated liberal women, so I find this rather hilarious. So we're gonna have fun together, just going through this, and just we're gonna giggle. Okay, so let's get down here. So a new study from the Institute of Governance and Civics at Florida State University showed that yes, there may be yet hope yet for single liberals who hate conservatives so much that they will never be willing to date one. So there's some interesting stuff in this article. I'll read some of it, but I actually found the article itself interesting as well. So we'll talk about that. I have a doctorate, I have a couple degrees, so I actually like getting into the meat of it, into the statistics of it, and kind of bringing all that stuff out and seeing if there's any bias or anything like that before I really, pass judgment. So, so let's take a look here. According to the study, as conservative men get older, they actually become less open to dating a liberal. Yes, very, very much so. I can speak from experience from that. When I was younger, was a lot more open about dating from both sides of the aisle. And the older I've gotten, I don't want to use the term extreme or radical, but you start moving a little bit more right. You start living a little more life, and you start seeing you stop, taking in a lot of society bullshit. I'll just put it out there like that. It's a lot of society bullshit where, traditions are being just a lot more silent, and I really don't live like that. I would not want my family to live like that. So I wouldn't be able to be with a woman that thought like that and didn't have those my type of values. So I can totally attest to this. As a conservative man gets older, they become a lot less open. They just do. And there's some other interesting things here. So real quick before we actually get into the study. So this table is from the study. This guy on Twitter, Zach Goldberg. I gotta make sure to give him a shout out because I'm showing his tweet and his data. So this is table 3 from that study: the willingness to date people with opposing political views, which includes um, those people with those opposing views, felons and flat earthers. I'm assuming they put flat earthers in there just to show some ridiculousness. Like, are you more willing to date somebody who's just so out there that it doesn't make any rational sense, or just somebody who has a different value than you? You know, pro life to pro choice, whatever it is, gender norms of that matter, stuff like that, and an ex felon. So the first idea I had when I saw ex felon, like, wow, assault and battery and all that type of stuff. But you really think about it, this could be fraud. This could be reckless driving. I believe is a felony, stuff like that. So a felon. I'm not sure if, in their definition, they would have to consider incarceration, but still, I still found it rather interesting that that they're willing to put that in there just as a comparison. So when you're very liberal, you're 66% unwilling to date a conservative. Well, at least there's some sense here because you're 81% unwilling to date a flat earther, so at least there's that. You're kinda a little more willing to date an ex-felon. I can totally see that. You get to the somewhat liberal and more moderate. that starts going down, and you see the ex-felons, and you see the relationship. I just found it really fascinating. So let's get into the actual study to see some of the data. So this is the actual study. So more than politics, how ideology shapes who Americans trust, date, and avoid. Zach Goldberg, Ryan Owens, and James Scholes. Looks like women show greater intolerance in the context of intimate relations. Women are more likely more likely than men to say that they would not date someone with different political views. 35% of women versus 25% men, and 42% of women say they wouldn't date across party lines, compared to 60% of men. For those 30 and older, the difference is smaller, 32 to 26, but they still exist. And intolerance is more profound among at the ideological extremes. Only 26% of people who are very liberal and 36% of those who are very conservative said that they would be okay with someone from the other side. So I guess you can consider this that a lot as you get older, you get a little more ornery, you get a little more set in your ways, and you're just not going to bend. You're not going to bend on, certain things, which I can totally understand. And let's see here. There was there was something here that I found interesting. Give me a minute. So only 25% of young women are open to dating across political lines as compared to 49% of young men. So again, I can attest to this as well. As being a young man, just you're just more open. You're just more open to like, well, she's attractive, but you got some you got some wokeness in there. So that possible 10 does come down to like about a 6 or a 7. You might take a shot, see if there's a good personality in there, if you might be able to kind of move them value-wise towards the other end of the spectrum. So I can totally see that. And this one I found rather interesting. So young liberal women are by far the most resistant to dating someone with different political views. 64% say they are unwilling, and just 12% say they are willing. So that tells me that, young liberal women are set in their I don't wanna say they're set in their ways, but they kind of are, which kinda goes against the what is thought of as being on the left, on being liberal, as being tolerant. This is kind of intolerant. You're not willing to bend, from what it looks like, from what the statistics say, or from what the study says. And looks like they consider young young adults among 18 to 29 year olds. So yeah. So you are you are rather young. I don't want to copy text. So I say that everybody should take a look at this study. I found it very fascinating. And wherever you're at on the spectrum, I mean, I'm talking to liberals and conservatives, um, you might want to look at the statistics and kind of see if it fits your experience. It definitely fit mine. The older I've gotten, the more radical, just more set in my ways I have become. So I'm not sure if that's your experience, or you might have a completely different damn experience. I would love to hear about it. So go ahead and drop some comments. We can have a conversation on there, and let me know what y'all think. And that's it. That's all I got. I will talk to you guys next time.